Okay. Hello, everybody. Happy Monday, and looking forward to a great game this week at home. It's great to be back at home. Thought the atmosphere up in Rutgers was fantastic. They did a great job there, and it was a really good experience for our guys. 3,000-mile flight or whatever it was, and thought our guys handled it really well. Watched the game, nothing new in terms of watching it on tape. You know, the mistakes were the mistakes. The good plays were the good plays. Certainly a team in the process of getting better. Certainly a team that has shown a lot of potential to be really good. And as we're continuing to build the program the way we want it, I think we'll continue to see more and more flashes of that and less flashes maybe of some negative plays here or there. But I can certainly see a team that's progressing. I can see a team that is continuing to improve. And I think as we continue to play together, coach this team, build this team, the process will continue to allow us to become the type of team that we all want to be.
How's Javon Parker?
Unfortunately, Javon is out for the year. He tore his Achilles.
The brothers are kind of snake bit a little bit. They haven't been able to both stay healthy here, and a lot of injuries.
Yeah, very disappointing. I mean, I feel for them. They work extremely hard. They come in with a great attitude every day. Those are fluke injuries that have occurred, and hopefully, timing-wise, both of those guys will be able to be ready for spring football, would be the hope, and therefore be able to have a really good spring together and then go into the fall both healthy. But it's obviously, I feel for Javon. He's worked extremely hard to get back and really did a nice job for us when he was in the game.
Is there any thoughts about seeking a medical red shirt or anything in that process for both of them?
We haven't gone that far at all at this point in time. I mean, I think we're 5 games in or whatever it is. I don't know exactly if he's played enough or not enough to get that, but he's got more time left on his clock, and we'll certainly do everything that we can to be able to allow him to play as much college football as he can and as his brother can, and then hopefully wish him the best to get into pro football.
Jedd, what kind of mechanisms do you guys have on the sideline to keep players from running out onto the field like you had there after the block? And what was the breakdown, you think, there after kind of watching the way that whole thing developed?
Yeah, well, one player ran out there, and it was a moment that he got excited. And it was a freshman moment. And I think I've never been a part of that I can remember with the live ball being going on at the exact time. I've never seen that happen. So there's nothing, that's not like that's a normal thing that occurs. That's not like there's something that you expect to have happen. And it was certainly one of those times that we've talked about, you know, what we like the sideline to look like and how we want to have composure and the energy and the excitement takes place on the sideline. And in that case, there was a lot of things that could have been done better there. We had a chance to scoop and score, and we didn't do we got too many guys celebrating while the play was going on and not enough guys making a play on the ball, scooping it, scoring, and going up 10-7 at the half. So that was a frustrating moment, but a learning moment.
Who are some of the guys who you're going to need to step up at defensive tackle without Javon?
The guys that have been playing in the first couple games when he wasn't playing, right? Everybody else is healthy. Everybody else is good to go. So, you know, all those guys are going to have to step up. The same group that played the first 2 weeks of the season. I think Javon's first game back. Well, I think he probably played a little bit of the Eastern Michigan game. But, you know, we obviously need Bandez and Valdez, and we need, you know, the other guys that are all in the trenches Bryce Butler, I think, will be back for this week. It'll be good to get him back. And then obviously Voy has done a great job for us both inside and outside. And we'll just continue to move guys around and see what the best combination. Maybe Logan can give us a few more reps as well to be able to stop what's going to be a very good running game.
Is there any update on Zach Durfee?
Durfee, I'm optimistic that he'll be able to play in the game this Saturday, but it's going to take a big commitment of treatment and a big commitment of the training room and him really trying to get himself, and medically we just got to get his toe right. And if we can do that and he can get to a place where he can plant and run and chase the ball carrier, then he'll play. But that will probably go all the way to game time.
That's the same thing he's been dealing with all along here.
Yeah, that'll be the same. It's the opposite toe, though. It's the other foot.
Did Brian Parham leave over playing time, basically?
Yeah, I think Brian just felt like this situation for him here, he wanted to try to maintain one more year of eligibility. And I think maybe have a place to go start. But we wished him the best, and he'll have an opportunity to go in the transfer portal when it opens.
How do you deal with those situations? Does he still have access to the facilities? Can he be around at all, or how do you guys approach that?
Yeah, players that aren't on the team have the ability to remain on scholarship, have the ability to continue their academic support and their medical support.
So he still has access to all that? He's still with the team, just not playing and practicing? Is that?
No, they have academic support and medical support only.
So how do you deal with, there's this new phenomenon happening now in college football where players want more money during the season. We just had a guy quit UNLV, as you know. Are you constantly keeping an eye on things like that and having to revisit agreements with players as the year goes by?
Yeah, I mean, I'm constantly keeping an eye on, let's call it the trends of college football and the way those things are happening with NIL, with the conversations regarding revenue share, with all of the latest and greatest news that come out on a daily or weekly basis regarding other teams and other programs and how they're handling their collectives. We've talked prior to the season, and our guys signed contracts that take them through the season. And then I think Mike Gundy said in his press conference that, you know, you negotiate with players at the end of the season. And our guys have been really good about understanding that the commitment we're making right now is to be how good of a football player and how good of a student we can be over these next 3 months. And then come December, when the new world order begins again, then we'll have more conversations regarding how compensation will change within the program. But no, we're not spending much time discussing individual contracts. We're spending a lot of time as an administrative and as a program looking into the future and trying to see how come when January hits, what is that going to look like? And is that going to be through the university? Is that going to be through the collectives? Is that going to be through both? Is that going to be through alumni support, community support, the businesses within Seattle? We have a lot of work to do to make sure that we can continue to remain competitive in this extremely competitive environment. And that's going to take the community, the city, the businesses, individuals, and the university.
Are the contracts throughout the season, are they paid incrementally throughout the season? Are they paid up front at the start of the season?
No, I think, the collective handles exactly how they distribute dollars. And I think depending on each situation, it's different and unique. I don't have access to those contracts, and I don't know exactly how those payouts occur. I do know that we fulfill 100% of our obligations.
Jedd, in the red zone, you guys are 117th in the nation right now, converting 72%. What is it that needs to just improve in terms of execution when you guys get inside the 20?
Yeah, we've had 5 times we haven't scored, right? We're 14 out of 19, I think, in the red zone. We had a 4th and 1 against Northwestern at the end of the game on the 9-yard line where I guess we could have kicked a field goal to be 15 out of 19. And then we missed a 20-yard field goal and a 25-yard field goal, both of which were red zone plays because they crossed the 20 before we had the penalty to bring us outside of the red zone. So those 2 missed field goals, I guess, put you at 17 out of 19. And we got stopped on the 1 and the 2. So those are the 5 plays, right? So if I guess if we make those 2 field goals and we decide to kick a field goal on the 9-yard line up 24-5, then statistically we'd probably be 35th in the nation. But that doesn't necessarily change that we're not focused on trying to continue to get better down there. I'd love us to complete the corner route to Giles. I would love to have called a different play on a 4th and 1. But in the end, you know, that's kind of what's happened. Those are the 5 red zone possessions we haven't scored on. And I talked to the team about that, you know, candidly, that as we continue to evolve and continue to develop, you know, we're 1 basketball hoop away from 5-0, I guess. You know, we're 3 yards, right? We're 3 yards away. So 9 feet or 10 feet. We got to convert on a 4th and 1 on the 1 and convert on a 4th and 2 on the 2. And we have 2 different outcomes. So we've got to just continue to build. And then we're the best story in college football, because then we're a team with 21 new starters and 21 new coaches that are 5-0. So we've got to find a way to continue to get better and make those plays and get better as a team in stops and scoring. And I think if we do that, we'll have a chance to be really good. But this is a process that mistakes are going to occur, and we're going to try to limit them the closer we get to the red zone.
Jedd, you had at Arizona, you guys were the number 10 red zone offense. What was working for you guys so well down there last year?
Well, I mean, I guess as I said, those 5 plays, right? We have a small sample size of 18 plays, so and those 5 plays, you know, whatever happened, right? Maybe we made 4 of the 5 last year. But again, I mean, I think it's just a matter of we got to continue to get better. That's all that it comes down to. We got to get better coaching it. We got to get better executing. We got to get better calling it. We got to get better making the play, whatever it might be. It starts with me. And if my job is to continue to get us better in those areas, I know how to, you know, that we can do that. And I really do believe that the more experience we have, we weren't 10th in the nation in the red zone in year 1. We were 10th in the nation in year 3. But I do believe is that the more experience that we have, the better we will be down there.
You have a Michigan transfer in Hayden Moore. Could you give a progress update on him? And does he move up a little bit now that Parham's left?
Yeah, everybody slides 1, I guess you would say. Fowler's back, which is kind of also a difference there. Brian was playing probably 35 snaps a game those 2.5 weeks that Fowler was out. Fowler's back, and he's healthy, so he gives us depth there. Hayden is learning the system, learning the defense, giving us a great look on scout team right now. He's a young player that has a lot of potential to be a really good linebacker for us. We're really excited that he chose to come here. But I think really in the end, this week he's going to do a great job for us. It's a different defense, so it doesn't give you an advantage that he came from Michigan. Coach Martindale wasn't there, but he's done a great job, and I think over the course of time, he's going to be a good contributor.
Is Jonah battling something, or when you mentioned him kind of coming out of some drives, was that more fatigue related?
No, I mean, I think when you're a runner and you run as hard as Jonah does, there's going to be times that you get nicked up here and there and dinged up a little bit. And, you know, the last 20 plays of the game, he wasn't ready to go back in full steam ahead, or if he would have been able to, I would have put him in. So we're just trying to get him healthy, ready to go, get his lower body ready to go. And I think he will be fine for Saturday, excuse me. But right now, we just needed to settle him down after the, I guess, 50th play of the game.
Coach, you mentioned all the new players and the new coaches. You've got 5 games now on film. What have you learned about what's the strength of this team? And is it, at this point, are there things you're going to throw out, things you're adding because you see strengths? How does that kind of evolve?
I kind of like the way our team's beginning to play. I think that, if anyone would have told me that we would have gone across the country and outgained the team by 230 yards and not turned it over and not taken a sack and not had a negative play, I would have signed up for that. So if we can continue to evolve offensively and continue to get better there, defensively, we are in the top 10 in scoring defense and total defense. In both offense and defense, we're in the top 20 in yards per play in both sides of the ball. If we can just get better each week, I think we could put ourselves in great position. I think we'll start seeing, none of us would have ever expected us to miss some kicks. Like, Grady Gross is one of the best kickers in the country. So every now and then, I guess there's a fluke day that occurs, but never in a million years would I have guessed that, nor do I ever think it would happen again. On the same token, I think we're just improving. That's our goal. Our goal is to take this process of each week and see how good we can get and recognize that, unlike Michigan, they have 2 guys that came from the portal on their team that's starting in their 2 deep on both sides of the ball. We have 16. So it's a different team. It's a different group. They recruited that team. Most of their coaches were on that staff. We're continuing to evolve and continuing to work on how do we get the best out of every player. I love the way Denzel Boston's continuing to improve. I love the way Zoe is playing. I love the way Carson Bruner's playing. Cam Broussard has helped us tremendously. There's so many good positives on the way these guys are evolving as a team. I think if we each week continue to see if we can improve, score a few more points, get a few more stops on third down, make a few more third downs, then all of a sudden things will start coming together. But the process is not overnight. And we're going to just see how good we can get this week and then start it over again for another trip to play at what would be 9 a.m. Pacific time against Iowa.
This is kind of the beginning of where your guys' schedule really ramps up in difficulty. You've got a lot of ranked teams left. Is this team where you want it to be at this point in the schedule?
I think the team is where we are. We would always love to be better. I would love to say that I could, I'd love to coach better. Assistant coaches would love to coach better. Players would love to play better. But our job is each week to get better. And as we're going through this process, I love how much better we've gotten. I think we're starting to see some of the things that we can do as a team. And we're going to have to continue to improve in these games that we have coming up. We've got Michigan this week. That's our full focus. When that game is over, our full focus will be Iowa. But as we've told our team, it doesn't matter. Get better. That's what we tell our team. Doesn't matter if we win, get better. Doesn't matter if we lose, get better. Find a way to get better every single day. And if we do that, I think we'll have a lot more wins than we will losses, regardless of who we play.
You hopeful on Quentin Moore this week, or?
Not as hopeful as I would like to be. I think Quentin is probably going to be the biggest challenge. Quentin and Kevin Green, I would say, are most likely out. And I would say everybody else, other than Javon, of course, with the Achilles, and Armand, I think everybody else on the roster should be good to go for Michigan, outside of Quentin and Kevin Green.
What's the biggest challenge in Michigan for you?
They run the ball extremely well, and they play great defense. So they've kept teams. I was watching the USC game before I came up here, and with 12 minutes left in the second quarter, USC had -3 yards, and Michigan had 121 yards, but the score was 7-0. So that was an interesting one. You look at the Minnesota game, it was 24-3 before the game kind of went the other way there for a while. In the fourth quarter, Minnesota got hot, which was, what you saw. I think that, they certainly run the football exceptionally well. Sharon's been there 6 years. That's his run game. He was the offensive line coach. He got there the year after I left. So he was the offensive line coach, I think the tight end coach, then the O-line coach, then the OC. And during that time, you could see how he built it from outside in. The tight ends became an elite group. Then the offensive line became an elite group. And then the whole offense last year was very hard to stop. they're continuing to run the ball at an exceptionally high level. Defensively, they really have run the Baltimore Ravens defense now for 5 years. Well, I guess since 2021, when Don Brown came to Arizona, they hired Mike McDonald, and then from Mike McDonald to Jesse Minter to Don Martindale, all three of them were together in Baltimore. So they run the Ravens defense. So you've got to deal with one of the best defenses, I guess, in the world, right? In pro football, so therefore in the world. And then you've got to deal with, offensively, a team that's really going to ground and pound you. And then as soon as you fall asleep, they're going to hit you on a big one over the top. So we got our work cut out for us. It's going to be a great atmosphere. I'd be shocked if it wasn't absolutely slammed in the stadium with 70, hopefully 75,000, and we can get like in trouble for having 2,000 over the limit or something like that. So I hope every student comes out, stands on each other's shoulders if there's no space, and we're going to need the crowd, we're going to need the energy, and we're going to need our healthiest and best football team, and we're going to need our coaches to be at their very best on Saturday as well.
One more real quick red zone question. You guys were second in the country in passing touchdowns last year. What's your just kind of approach to calling runs versus passes in the red zone? What are you looking for?
Yeah, usually the best red zone teams run the ball the best down there. That's traditionally how it works. And then you have a chance to hit a play action pass is what we tried to do on the 4th and 2 was a play action pass. And we ran the ball on 1st and 7 on the 7, then 2nd and 3, and we got a yard. They blitzed the safety. But in general, I'd love to run it in if we could, but there's some issues there if you're outnumbered numbers-wise and you get 2 over 2 or you get 3 over 3 and you have a chance to throw it in, you got to make that play. And, we unfortunately didn't when it was 2 over 2 on 3rd and 4 on the 4, and then we didn't when it was 3 over 3 when it was 4th and 2 on the 2, and really 3 over 3 when it was 3rd and 2 on the 2 when we tried to hit Denzel. So we'll continue to improve on it. We'll continue to get better at it, and I believe that, if we improve with our scoring offense, that'll help all facets of the team. Okay, thank you. Appreciate you guys.